Okay, let's get practical here on the Big Bad Bear. Picture was taken on a really hot day. I don't think he was all that happy. He's got his foot in the water trying to cool off. There are areas of this image that I wish were a little bit lighter. Areas that I wish were a little bit darker, and we'll play around with that saturation sponge tool too. First thing we should do is we should always make a copy. Understand something about dodge, burn, and sponge. They're destructive tools. What they do to an image permanently changes it. So we want a copy so we can kind of look at the copy, go back and forth. Let's do this. Drag Big Bad Bear down on top of the new icon. Makes an instant copy. Let me undo that. The shortcut's faster. Control, Command on a Mac, Control J does the same thing, but it's faster. Change Big Bad Bear copy name, double click on it, to Dodge and Burn. And with that done, we'll move this all the way back down here again. And that'll get it out of the way. Here we go. Come over here and pick up the Dodge tool. Now, that's the one that looks like the black lollipop. We're going to do a range on midtones, exposure at 50%, and we do want to protect our tone. We come down here. Remember, we're working on the Dodge and Burn layer. And we'll just begin moving around. I'm using a drawing tablet, which makes this a little bit easier, but whatever you do, just come down here, click and hold. Remember, don't let go of the mouse until all of the areas are lightened up. It gives you one exposure at a time. If I let go of my mouse, it will do it again. I want a little bit more than this, and I've gone over it several times. So what I'll do is let go of my mouse and then click my mouse again, and it's going to get just a little bit lighter, based again on exposure. Our exposure is 50%. Okay, let's go ahead and lighten that area too. Come back again, make sure you got everything done. It doesn't get any worse. Overlap, make sure you get all those pieces done. So we've got that part lightened up. We can always turn this on and off over here to see what we've done so far. I like that so far. I want to darken these areas up here. So we will go to our Burn tool, which looks like the hand puppet. Range for midtones right now, exposure 50%, and let's use a little bit of a bigger brush. So here's a trick for you. If you're using a brush and you want to make it bigger, simply use your two bracket keys. The right bracket key will increase your brush size, and the left bracket key will decrease it. Nice little feature. Got the brush size you want. Come over here and you will see it does darken those areas up. Now notice it doesn't really do anything around the highlights because I've got midtones selected. It's going to ignore those, and that's exactly what I want it to do. I like that, but I think the highlights could be a little bit darker, and so let's come over here to range and change that to highlights. But watch what happens. That's way too much. I mean, I don't want that much. But I would like them a little bit darker. So let's press undo. Love the undo key. And let's change our exposure. Let's knock that down to about just like 5–6%, something small. And see, just a very subtle effect. That's all I want. Don't want a lot. We can even come down here if we want to and darken up that area. It's just going to impact the highlights. And again, anytime we want to look at it, we can go and do this and turn it on and off. I like what's going on so far. The bear is the key to this image. The background is all right, but I think what I want to do, because the human mind looks toward color. If you see grayscale and color, you're going to look toward the color, and I want you focusing on the bear. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to pick up the sponge tool. We'll go into desaturate. And I'm going to knock down the saturation values of that background. Let me use my right bracket key to make the brush bigger. And let's go ahead and start moving around with this tool. Now remember, this tool is an active tool. As long as you're moving, it is going to desaturate. And the more you rub it, the more it's going to do. So you have to be careful with it, and you have to keep moving around. If you just stay in one place, it'll desaturate that one place. So that's the major difference between this one and the Dodge and Burn tools. All right, let's pull a little bit more around here and around there. And let's go ahead and get closer right in there. And I suppose we come down here, make the brush a little bit smaller, and get around his toes and up here. Just trying to get rid of that saturation value around him. Human eye likes color. And again, this is where a drawing tablet can really help you out. It's kind of nice, more of a feel to it than a mouse. All right, anytime we want to, we can look at this one. That's the original, and that's what we wound up with. You're more attracted to the bear. The bear is in color. We've desaturated the background. We've lightened up some of these areas down here to get a little bit more detail, and we've darkened up some of the areas up here for the same reason, to get a little bit more detail and balance the image out. Dodge, burn, sponge. Now this is actually pretty cool, but guess what? I've got a better way, in my opinion, to do dodge and burning and sponging. So in the next segment in this lesson, I'm going to show you another trick to dodge and burning that actually doesn't use the dodge and burn tools. Stick around.